Welcome to The Explainer, where we make complex topics, well, simple. And today we are tackling three of the biggest buzzwords in tech right now: generative AI, AI agents, and agentic AI. So if you've been hearing these terms thrown around everywhere and you're kind of struggling to figure out what actually makes them different, trust me, you are not alone. It feels like the definitions are changing every week, and all the hype makes it really hard to see what's actually going on. But that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to clear up all that confusion. We're going to level up our understanding step by step, starting with the AI you've probably already played with, and then building all the way up to the autonomous systems of the future. All right, let's get into it. Okay, let's start at level 1, the foundation. This is the one that really brought AI into the mainstream for all of us, generative AI. And if you need a simple way to think about it, just think of it as the creator. So, what's under the hood? Well, at its heart, you've got a large language model, or an LLM, like GPT-4. And this thing has been trained on a truly mind-boggling amount of data from the internet. I mean, we're talking pretty much all of Wikipedia, a huge library of books, all of that stuff. It learns the patterns and all that data, and then it can generate something completely new and original. And this right here, this shows you the key limitation of pure generative AI. It can tell you all about Paris, based on all that historical data it was trained on, but ask it for a flight price for tomorrow? No way, it just can't do it. Why? Because its knowledge is essentially frozen in time. It has a knowledge cutoff date and absolutely no live connection to what's happening in the real world right now. So, that limitation is actually the perfect segue into our next level. If generative AI is the creator, then our level 2, the AI agent, well, that's the doer. Let's see what that really means. Okay, so what if we could take that powerful LLM brain, but instead of just keeping it locked in a box, what if we gave it some tools to work with? What if we gave it a way to actually interact with the outside world? This is the game changer. This is what unlocks its ability to go from just knowing things to actually doing things. And I love this analogy. It's so perfect. The LLM is the brain, right? And the tools, things like APIs, they're like its hands and feet. They're what let the brain connect to the real world, to external services, like a travel website, giving it the power to not just know stuff, but to actually get things done. So this is the really crucial point here. An AI agent is so much more than just a chatbot. It takes your request, it thinks about the steps it needs to take, and then it actually uses its tools to complete a specific task for you. It has a degree of autonomy. It can make decisions on its own to get that job done. Just look at how this process plays out. The user just says, "Book me the cheapest flight." That's the goal. The agent then goes out, uses its travel API tool to search for flights. It independently analyzes the results to decide which one is the cheapest, and then it actually books it. It completes the action. It's not just spitting back information, it is achieving a real, tangible goal for you. Okay, that is pretty impressive. But what happens when the goal gets way more complex? I mean, with a ton of moving parts and different things that depend on each other. Well, that brings us to our final level, level 3, Agentic AI, the orchestrator. Think about a request like this. A single agent would just completely fall apart trying to handle it. You have to juggle so many constraints: the budget, the sunny weather, no layovers, and you need to access totally different kinds of information, like travel logistics and immigration rules. It's just too much for one agent. So the solution isn't to try and build one giant super agent that knows everything. Nope. The smarter approach is to build a system that acts like a brilliant project manager. It takes that complex goal, understands all the pieces, and then coordinates a whole team of specialized agents to get it done. So first up, the system might say, okay, flight booking agent you're on. This agent is an expert in all things travel. It uses its tools, the Expedia API, the Weather API, and it gets to work, hunting for flights that check all the boxes: right dates, sunny weather, under budget. But wait, before it books anything, the system is smart enough to know there's another critical step. It needs to check the visa situation. So it calls in another specialist, the immigration agent, to use its own tools to verify your eligibility. This all happens before a single dollar is spent. And that, right there, is Agentic AI. It's the orchestrator. It's a whole system that can do complex, multi-step planning. It breaks down a big goal into smaller tasks, delegates those tasks to the right specialist agents, and then coordinates everything to make sure the final objective is met. Pretty amazing. All right, let's put this all together and recap that evolution from the simple creator all the way to the sophisticated orchestrator. When you see it side by side, the whole progression really clicks into place. This table just lays it out perfectly. You start with generative AI. Its whole job is to create content. Then you level up to the AI agent, which uses tools to complete one specific task. And at the top, you have Agentic AI, which uses multi-step planning and a team of agents to achieve a really complex goal. And if there's one single trend to notice here, it's this. The amount of autonomous decision-making just goes up and up. With each step up that ladder, from generative AI to agentic AI, we are handing over more and more of the thinking and the doing to the system itself. So what does all this mean? Where is this all headed? What does this progression from creator to doer to orchestrator actually mean for the future? I think the most important thing to remember is that these aren't totally separate things. Generative AI is the foundational component. It's the brain. It's the engine that's powering the intelligence inside both the individual agents and the bigger agentic systems. Look, this entire field is moving at a breakneck speed. And yeah, the lines between these concepts can get a little blurry, and people might argue about the exact definitions, but the overall direction we're headed in, it's crystal clear. We are moving towards more and more sophisticated autonomous systems that can handle complex, real-world goals with less and less of our help. And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. As these AI systems get better and better at being autonomous orchestrators in our world, the conversation has to shift. It's no longer just about what can this technology do. The real question becomes, how much control should we keep? And that's something we're all going to have to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.